Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Japanese tier 9 heavy tank, the Type 4 Heavy. Now, if you haven't guessed by the title, as always, this is the third mark video for the tank. So these are the two replays that lead up to and achieve the third mark of excellence for the tank. And you might be going, why? Just why? Why did you bother? And simple answer is, yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I just went, you know what, just play the Type 4 Heavy in 3 market, and so that's what I did. So we are going to basically drive the slowest tank in the universe, which is big, has got absolutely no armor, and see what we can do. Because that's the problem with the Type 4 Heavy, and that is that the tank is pretty much just extremely slow. It's got absolutely no armor. Its gun's okay. Honestly, with the Type 4 Heavy, I wouldn't, because it's got two choices for a gun, right? You've got this 140, well, I say it's 140mm, it's a 14cm gun, and you've got a 15cm gun. Now, the 15cm gun is a derp gun, and the 14cm gun is an AP gun. So this 14cm gun that I'm using right now is 600 alpha. You got the 15cm gun, which is 750, or you can use, that's with the heat, or you can just fire HE for 1100, but you've got to pen the HE. Now that gun can be memes, and it's definitely memes on the Type 5 Heavy, but on the Type 4 it's not that accurate. It's got no DPI, well, it's got no rate of fire at all to it. And quite honestly, you can't afford to miss shells when you play in the Type 4, because you've got no armor. You may be a big fat Japanese heavy tank, and you might be a super heavy, in inverted commas, but the armor does not work like that on this tank. Very rarely. Most tanks just be able to butter your armor up, pretty much. So, we're on Arctic region. Mountain Pass, even. It's not Arctic region, it's Mountain Pass. We're on Mountain Pass, we've pushed to the heavy tank flank, and we've managed to shut down the 777 with help from our friends, and we're now kind of hull down against this medium tank and heavy. Now, the UDES, I'm quite confident that the UDES is one that will struggle with me, because most tanks that have about 260, 270 pen were the ones that will basically pen me guaranteed every time. The UDES obviously has 232 standard pen and then 260 on its prem. So if it's firing prem, it's still not as likely to go through me as, say, that SDR-VK would be if the SDR-VK bothered with me. So I was quite happy to sit hull down against that guy and just hopefully get some shots into him. We get a nice shot on the move into him again as he's fleeing. And honestly, this is the worst situation, right, for the Type 4 Heavy, because when you're pushing for that third MOE, you don't want the enemy team to not be with you. The worst thing is when you push a flank, and it's the same for any slow tank really, you push a flank and there's just no one there. And this is where this IS-3 comes into play, because now I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy you're here, IS-3. Just let me nom on your hit points. I just want to go nom 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 all over your hit points and take them all. 1500, that is exactly what we want. So he's backing off. We slap a shot through his tracks into his tank. I was kind of hoping to track him so this Barras could get, well, feed me assistance. But unfortunately we don't. We're going to try and ram him in a heavy tank in the Type 4. We do get to ram him, take his tracks off. Unfortunately, he gets around our side, but we shut down the IS-3. And he was sort of the hit points I wanted. To 3-mark this tank, it was around 3.2k I needed in total to get any sort of movement. So, like right now, at 2.7k damage, I'm under what I need. I need more damage. And like I say, the worst thing about playing slow tanks is when just the enemy teams just aren't there. They're just not there with you. They go to the other flanks and you sit there going, oh, as you're trying to chase damage. So there's a Conqueror in front of us there. and there's this SDR-VK on our left. Now the SDR-VK is one that I don't really want to leave there, and I'm also looking at it because the TD in the middle is another one that I could be shooting down on, and that's hit points that I don't want to turn away. It's a Diamondback, and shooting down should be fairly easy to pen. So we're just waiting for the reload, and hopefully we'll be able to get the shot into this SDR-VK that's ignoring us. Awkward shot. I should have shot for his turret ring there, because the SDR-VK is a tank that is not that well armoured. It's got great frontal turret armour, but if you actually shoot it just below the gun manlet in the turret ring, you'll pen it, because the hull joining where the tank, the Cranvarn hull joins the Centurion turret, is actually like a turret weak spot. It's a turret ring that you can pen quite easily. It's a big problem with the tank. Same as the roof for some reason. The roof gets overmatched or just penned a lot as well compared to normal Centurions. It's really annoying. So we're getting shots down on this Diamondback. We managed to shut him down. We're at 4.5k now, so I know I'm going up, which is nice. We get tracked by the unseen TD over there. Now the Conqueror is moving in. It's like, okay, I need to try and shut this guy down. We get a shot through his back end, track him in place. Unfortunately, he shuts down my 705 friend. And now this is really awkward because he's actually hull down. And he's not going to struggle. He's not going to struggle with us at all. And unfortunately, we end up tracking him and not penning him. And now he's broken our engine. We are reloading still, and he actually shuts us down, which is really unfortunate. But he's on low hit points, so my team should finish him off, hopefully, very quickly. Against that Conqueror, we were doomed, right? Because that Conqueror has great pen on its standard rounds. If he's firing Prem, it just destroys you so quickly and so easily because the Type 4 Heavy is terrible. Pretty much. He'll fire like at least 2 shells for every one you fire. It's just the way it is. So we finished that game with 4 kills, 4.9k damage, ace tanker, high caliber, and that was up to 90.5. It was one of the really good games that we had in the lead up to getting the third mark. Because really all I did for this third mark was have games that were about 4k damage, and they weren't outstanding. They were slow paced games, and we just sort of slowly but surely ground it up. And then we got this game on Kasserine, and I looked at that matchmaking and went, oh my goodness me, that is juicy, because we're one of only 3 tier 9s, the rest are all tier 8. Easy pens, tanks that won't do any damage. And by the way, don't text and drive, because otherwise you'll drive into AFK tanks, yeah? Don't text and drive. But yeah, so I'm looking at this going, well, that's juicy, because there's a lot of tanks in this game that aren't going to be able to deal with me in terms of armour. But at the same time, I'm looking at this game a bit worried, because it's the type of game that can go quite quickly, and when there's not as many hit points in the game for this, because, you know, there's not many tier 9s and there's a lot of tier 8s, and that means there's just less hit points in the game itself. I'm kind of sitting there going, oh, is this going to be one of those games where the team just dies dead quick and I don't get any damage off? Or, you know, our team just stomps theirs and I literally get no damage off? Honestly, it happened quite a few times when I was doing this, where I was just driving. I literally just drove for the whole game. And thank God I did this, because this is before 7.0. Thank God I did this before the new maps came out, because honestly, if I was to play one of the new maps, which is Fredvang, Kaobang, Mannheim, or Desful, you're just not going to get anything done, because honestly, those maps are horrendous for tanks that are slower than like 30 kilometers an hour. You just don't get any. You can't get anywhere before the fights are done, and yeah, they're just generally too big for slow tanks, unfortunately, and probably not for World War II mode. But hey, it is what it is. But I'll say I'm thankful I did this mark before then, because I was gonna have even more frustrating games, which happened a lot anyway. Where on a map like this, for instance, where I'm literally just driving for the whole game, and I see 3 tanks. And the game just peters out for me doing like 1200 damage. Trust me, it's frustrating. So, I've pushed to an aggressive spot. I was kind of hoping to get up to the position at D4, but the likelihood of me getting damaged now with my team having pushed up to D2 before I even got anywhere near it means that I'm thinking, you know what, actually I'm going to push down this middle area. I'm watching that 705A thinking maybe that's NOM, maybe that's the HP I want, but what we're going to do is poke up on this ridgeline over here first, because there might be something camping somewhere where I might be able to get shots. We're getting a lovely little push from this bloke behind me, which I'm trying to find the thanks button somewhere on the radio menu. But we say affirmative. Thank you for the push, dude. I'm hoping to get to... Anyway, I'm trying to hopefully get to a spot where I can actually get some damage. Because at the minute we've got 490 damage and 252 assistance, which means we're going down. We're going down at the minute, and I really need to get some damage. And at the minute, I am sitting there getting a little bit more frustrated the longer this is going on, going, I'm not going to get anything done. But fortunately, there's this huntsman that's still in front of us. I'm kind of hoping he'll do something stupid and try and poke and shoot me. Because that's something that's always a thing as well. When you get to this situation where you've got health and then there's tanks on the enemy team, you're thinking, I'll just hang myself in the breeze. I'll make it so I'm an easy target for them to hit. And hopefully, they'll just drive out in front of us. But he doesn't, but we got the AT-15 that we caught out in the open and shut him down. But now there's a medium tank and the heavy tank in this alley. And this is perfect for the Type 4. So I'm thinking, you know what? I know there's a 705. I'm just going to load premium because I'm going to go through his upper plate every time with the premium if he decided to come and try and face hug me. And I wouldn't be able to pen him with the standard if that happened. But then the Centurion's here and he is full sending. So I'm watching it. He's going after this huntsman. We managed to pop a shot into him, track him in place. And I'm just going to leave him because I'm kind of hoping that my huntsman will shut him down. But it's not quite happening. I keep expecting, the reason I'm looking right, is I'm expecting that 705 to come charging around the corner. And then we're going to lose a big slab of hit points. But he never does. The 705 never comes to help his friend in need. He actually stays on the corner the whole time. At that point, he probably could have came and got some damage off on us and helped his friend. And his friend might not have... Well, his friend probably would have still died, but we'd have lost a lot of hit points for that, generally, for that distraction. But now we're coming after the 705. He has no problem penning us. We slap a prem round straight through his upper plate. Like I say, if we get up close, if we got standard rounds in, likelihood is we're probably not going to go through his upper plate. But if we got the prem rounds in with 280 pen, we are going to go through, because we've only got 242 pen on our standard, which isn't the best. So we get another shot straight through. And honestly, this guy was the dream, because we get most of his hit points, and we're up to 3.3k. And I think before this game I was at 94.6. So I know that with the movements that we've been getting, I probably needed about 4.5k. 4k to 4.5k and I'll get the third mark. I'm watching the tank above because I don't want it... Well, I'm kind of hoping he'll give us a shot. But really, I just need to go after this 777 version 2. Because he's made the mistake of driving down on this ridge, and that is hit points for me to get. So we're up to 4k damage now, and I'm sitting there going, okay, we're at 4.5k combined. That's nice. I just want 1 or 2 more shots of damage to guarantee me the hit points. We've lost at this point. There's too much hit points going in front of us. We don't have the reload. We also don't have the armor, as you're seeing everyone is going to pen us. I'm waiting for the reload to go in. All I'm doing is wiggling in the hope that people bounce like this Bison does here. I just need 1 more shot and I'm probably going to get it. So I'm looking at it going, who's going to provide me the shot? This 777 sits there, lets us shoot him, which is nice. We're up to 5k damage. I'm just going to drive backwards into this Centurion. I'm hoping that I get 1 more shot of damage. But unfortunately, the Huntsman finishes us off and we don't get the extra shot. But we knew that we did enough because that was 5.5k combined. So it was like, yeah, I've got this. High caliber, 95.2. So we actually went up quite a bit for that. 912 base XP. It was a loss. It's always unfortunate to finish a third mark on a loss. But at the same time, we did enough. And it was nice to finally finish the Type 4 Heavy for its third mark. because honestly, it was quite frustrating in the end when we were just driving around for ages and not getting anything done. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success!